Don't kick me out of the call.
You're kicked out of the call. We're on.
No!
We're on the air. My name's Phil Kohler. It's Rogue Legacy. We're gonna choose my heir. And we're gonna start with Andrew. You help me choose my heir.
I will
as
soon as I see the stream pop up. I will do that. There it is.
Also being joined by Janine. Hi.
Hi.
And Geops with us as well.
Hello, I
Hey,
snuck
sir.
in here.
Okay, so this Rogue Legacy, this is like a weird procedurally generated Metroidvania roguelike / RPG thing. I don't know, it's really weird, but I like it a lot. Each time you start the game, you get to choose an heir. You get to choose from 3 different people, and they have traits and a class that is randomly generated. Based off of, the classes are you unlock as you go. The traits are just all unlocked from the beginning, I think. And in this case, I have a choice between an Archmage, a Lich King, or a Hokage? I don't know how that's pronounced.
Sir Wizarl?
I think I'm going to be Sir Wizarl, the Lich King.
Sir
because,
Hornsby, his name is Bruce.
Yeah, Hornsby's pretty good too.
Yep, he retired from his band, The Range.
Lich Kings are really good. They start off with like no HP, but they get permanent HP upgrades for every kill.
Oh, wow.
I will say this for Sir Wizarl, he sounds like somebody who'd be featured in like a Missy Elliott song. That's pretty good.
Some anime word J Fabulous says when I tried to pronounce Hokage, which I think is right. So this Lich King has the trait of Endomorph, which means enemies aren't going to be able to knock him back. But also he is muscle weak, which means he can't knock enemies back. But we can live with that, so we're going to go with that. I have a lot of gold right now. 2007 gold from my last run, because my last run was with a miner. Miners are super weak characters, but they get a bonus to how much gold they get.
Wow, you are so leveled up right now.
Holy crap!
I've been playing. I'm about 6 hours in, so.
Okay.
Man,
Is this
my
all from
character
today,
feels super.
No, this is not all today. I've had the game for a little bit longer than people because I got an early review build. I
So
think
you cheated. You're cheating.
You already got all them Steam achievements, huh?
I got a lot of them. I got a good number.
Are there
So
cards for this
I
game?
noticed you aren't raising your attack skill. It was near the bottom left, the first sword one.
Hold on 1 second. Let me go back out there in a second. I wanna buy these things before I forget.
Attack skill sounds like it would be important.
Yeah, that's
I
kinda what
don't
started
attack
focusing
very much.
Attack means you make more with the hurting, and that makes enemies.
Yeah, I haven't. You're right. I have not raised this a lot, and I probably should. As you can see, I've pumped a lot into health.
Also, not to interrupt, I love how the characters march in this, holding their sword out.
It's
It's
so
kind of like
good.
they're going onward.
It's so good. I love it. Yeah, I agree. My philosophy is this: I suck, and I'm going to get hit a lot. So like, I might as well be able to take a lot of hits. But I think I probably am getting to the point because at this point, so we're going to enter the castle. Every time you start, this outdoors area is the same. You've got a blacksmith who will sell you new armor. I got a new ranger hat you can see here, which is ranger helmet, which is made of wood, I think. You have an enchantress who will basically add little bonus abilities onto your armor. You can only have one per piece of armor, so I have double jump onto my helmet right now, for example. And it looks like every single ability, you get every single ability for every single item type. So eventually you can just choose between all of them on each of your items. And then you have this guy, the architect, who will lock down the castle, because each time you go in, the castle is randomly generated. He will lock it down if you want to keep the same layout from last time. And then you have Charon, who takes all of your money when you go in. Except I have a skill that allows me to keep 1% of my money.
So
that's...
You have a wooden hat.
I do.
It's quite literally a pith helmet then.
I'm gonna turn down the music a little bit, and that's it. There.
Nobody?
I don't get it.
I didn't
be
hear you.
honest.
I was actually just buying this game on Steam.
Rad. That's
Why don't you
give
have
up.
quick drop on?
I have what?
Why don't you have quick drop on?
I don't know what that is.
Quick drop lets you know when you have to those platform things. It just means you only have to hit down.
What?
Like you jump
How
and
do
hit
you-
down
how do
instead
you
of
do
hitting
that?
down and attack to
Oh,
activate
what?
the platform.
How do you do that?
You just
Wow.
enable quick drop in preferences.
It's in
the
preferences?
best. You
Where-
gotta play like that.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's. Oh my god, that
That's
is so
good.
much better. Oh, that is so much
I was
better.
complaining to Phil about that earlier. It's kind of like, man, that down attack thing is
Yeah,
horrible.
the timing is awkward, but
That is a game changer. That's you just
Yeah.
improved my life.
Yeah, because I'm already playing with the 360 pad, so we're already kind of penalized when it comes to the D-pad usage there.
Ugh.
So as you can see, I'm getting 4 HP, permanent upgrade to my HP for every enemy that I kill. And I also have
It's
some items that have vampirism, so I'm also getting 4 HP healed for every enemy I kill. And you guys can see I can destroy everything in the environment to like get it to drop gold or healing items.
What about those bookcases?
Those I can't destroy because
You can't
Because-
destroy knowledge.
yeah, exactly. That is literally exactly what I was gonna say.
I would beg to differ, sir.
I was gonna say tell that to the Library of Alexandria. I think that's
Deep cuts.
I was trying to be
Yep.
deep here.
I was
Don't derail me.
just gonna make a joke about college, but Janine had to make it all
Oh, you-
highfalutin.
yeah.
Go ahead and bookend that subject.
Hangovers, exams,
Oh,
drugs.
bookend with the pun about the library.
You missed the Pith one earlier. I'm still disappointed.
I still don't get it.
Pith is part.
I like that you gave up trying to explain it so quickly.
That's fuck is
I.
pun.
There's one.
Right. Oh, all right. I think so.
Okay, and a
I'm
pith
to the forest, so I think I'm gonna go into the forest.
And a pith
Ooh, I've never seen the forest.
helmet. Eh?
You get an A for effort. So I've actually already defeated the boss in the castle. So at this point, my goal in the game is kind of exploring the forest, which seems to be the next area.
So Phil, as I understand it, is the castle randomized every time?
Everything's randomized. Yep.
Okay.
The one thing that is, so I'm going to bring up the map here. You can see the forest is off to the right. What's going to be the case every time is the forest is going to be to the right somewhere, the tower area is going to be up, and the like dungeon underground area is going to be below.
The
Okay.
dungeon sucks.
It's yeah. Every time I've gone down there, I've died on the first screen.
Oh my god, it is horrible.
It's I think I'm a ways from being able to last there.
It makes sense that the most horrible place to end up is the dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true to form.
At this point, like, I've gone into the tower some, and I can at least survive there. But you discover journals as you're going, and the journals seem to suggest that the forest is supposed to be the second area that you visit.
Okay.
And these enemies seem at least a little bit more within my skill range right now.
Gotta say, Count Dracula's gotten more feng shui in his castles.
Yes. Look at how big the moon is. It's just a giant moon.
It's a super moon.
You
Maybe
could
it's not
say that.
actually the moon. Maybe it's the last level.
It could be. I don't know.
Dungeon.
What if the last level is the moon?
You have to kill the moon.
No spoilers, guys.
It just
You've
turns
done
into
that
Dead Space
before,
3
so
at
it'll
the
work
end.
out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just Dead Space.
Well, if you
Phil
kill
and I
it
are
once before,
really
it
good at
didn't
killing
kill
moons.
it. If it keeps coming back, you aren't killing it right, though. The moon is one step ahead of you, my friend.
The moon has heirs too, maybe.
Giap and Janine, you two have been playing this a little bit. How is your progress going thus far?
Not slow and steady.
That
My
Good for the
progress,
race, but
my progress could be summarized kind of like Let me think. Kind of like something very hard getting thrown against a wall repeatedly and not making any progress. That's kind of where I'm going right now.
You guys, should I take on the forest boss?
Yeah, of course.
Sounds like a plan to me.
I don't think I'm gonna win, but I think it's worth showing off. Just to make sure, I want to check with everybody in the chat and make sure that the volume is pretty okay before I go take on this boss.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a single blueprint yet, just to give you an idea. I've gotten a
Oh,
couple,
man.
but I haven't stumbled upon any blueprints.
Those blueprints are important.
You're level 50 as
Jay
well.
Fabulous is asking, what are these little random like light blips on the screen?
Those are just a weird little thing for the forest.
Okay.
You can see for this boss room, when you find a boss room, you get a teleporter that I can use to teleport back to the beginning of the dungeon if I wanted to. Okay,
Those are
Homebreaker
weird,
says the
though.
volume's good.
Like, they look like they should be a thing.
They do,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know. I don't know what they are, but as far as I know right now, they don't do anything.
Generic username. Regarding the price, even if Steam has a summer sale, this just came out. If it drops, it probably won't be by much at all, honestly.
Yeah, probably like a buck or two.
Yeah.
Oh god,
I'd say just go ahead and get it now. It's a very good game.
it's very good.
Oh god, it's Alexander.
That's a large skull.
He's got nothing on Murray.
He's level 46, so he's pretty
You're level
beefy
50?
right now. Yeah, I'm level 50, but not with very like balanced stats, as was pointed out. I maybe haven't been like doing the best job.
Well, I'm terrible at builds anyway, so who knows? Maybe,
No,
maybe putting points into hurt power is a bad strategy in this. Who knows?
No, I think you're probably more on base than I am. I've just been. Listen, I'm not good at video games, guys. That's my secret. Oh god. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh man.
No, you got this. You got this.
Spoiler, I don't think he
like
does.
he already died.
Yeah,
He's just
judging
waiting
by
for us
the
to catch
Skype
up.
audio, it's kind of like, oh, well, I know where this is going.
Oh,
Yeah, there it goes.
You
Yeah,
can see the huge list of enemies that I killed now, though. I'm pretty happy with that.
and yet they'll all be back. None of them were missed.
No, the bosses for this seem to be. I've only fought the boss of the castle and this boss, but they seem to be very heavily like kind of old school pattern based.
Yeah, there are some random castle builds you stumble into in this. They will screw you. I remember I was talking to Phil earlier about that whole downward stab thing. There are platforms in this that'll pop out, but you have to downward stab them to toggle them, and then they're on like a timer, and they'll recollapse. One time I came to the castle, and the first room I entered had spikes all along the ceiling, all along the floor, and it was just an onward path of those things. I'm just kind of
Sounds fantastic.
like, oh. Yeah, I missed the first one. I couldn't jump high enough to get back on them, so I just made it out the other end with like 5 health left. Got a coin off of something, then I got killed. I'm like, this is a disappointing run.
It sort of reminds me of the game reminds me of Binding of Isaac, not just in the sense that it's, you know, sort of roguelike inspired, but also in the sense that like immediately as I'm playing, like I reach certain rooms that I know that will repeat at some point, that I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be a room where every time I run into it, I'm gonna be like, God damn it, I pulled this room, you know, like I wish I hadn't drawn this room.
I couldn't get into Binding of Isaac because there never was a sense of, you know, lasting progression when you die. Like in this, you can get, you know, something very tangible.
It's different. In Binding of Isaac, the progression is just that you unlock new things that still only have a certain chance of showing up.
Not saying it's a bad game, just it
No, you
really
hate-
wasn't.
you hate
it really
Binding of
wasn't my
Isaac.
thing. Yes, I downright hate Binding of Isaac. That's correct.
Mads Fox in the chat wants to know, is this girl's ribbon made out of pith?
That's a fair question, and I think
Geoff.
the only one who can answer it is Geoff, yeah. Look at this, I found a hidden
what?
treasure chest.
I would say though that this game definitely
Whoa.
it does a lot for of the criticism or the reasons a lot of people have for not wanting to play these kinds of games, you know.
Yeah,
Because they worry it's going to get repetitive, or they worry that, you know, they've really gone out of their way to let you take small steps or big steps and change things as you're going, and
the amount of character development that's in here, I think, really helps. The fact that you do, as Giap was saying, that you do really make progress, I think helps a lot.
and you're not just playing some random guy over and over. There's the whole thread of, you know, the going down the family tree and playing as your kids and their kids, and that makes it feel a bit more like, I don't know, it feels better than just playing a bunch of random dudes for some reason. It feels more like you're supposed to die and not like it's a failing of yours.
Yeah, it's definitely it's an interesting way of handling it at the very least.
Yeah, there's some cases I came across very early on, and I'd skip a room or end up dying in it. Sometimes it's something very obvious, like, oh, there's no way in heck I can get past this room unless I have like triple jump or something. Like there was one room I was in that was like a very high vertical drop with no footholds, and there were spikes all along the walls and all along the grounds.
I know that
recurring thing.
I know that room you're talking about.
Yes, and I was kind of like, well, guess I'm gonna die here.
I think that one, like, if that's the one that I am thinking of, yeah, like you need double jump. You can get through it with double jump, but it was like I also got to one where it was like, or I also got to that one without before I had double jump or anything, and it was like I was just like, well, nope. By the way, here's my pro tip for playing this game: get double jump like immediately. As soon as you can, get the double jump rune and put it on something.
I haven't really been limited by jumping except for that one room, though, really.
Maybe, you know, I have a little bias in this, which is that I love double jumping. just as a thing, I love
really
double
like
jumping.
the slide ability. It's kind of unfortunate because I got the vampire rune, and you have to replace the slide capability with it. So I was kind of like, oh.
Theoretically, so you can get all of the runes for each armor type. So
Yeah.
at some point you should be able to have both,
Oh.
or even multiple versions of both. You could get like multiple vampire ones to make you last longer. I guess. Oh god. I should try this boss again, I guess.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh
You know
god.
what time it is. Uh-oh, it's an armored
Whoa.
dude.
That's a big guy.
That's like a medieval version of that guy from the Mega Man games with the shields.
Oh,
What are
Jesus
those called?
Christ.
What are those guys?
I should
called?
probably try it. I should not have tried fighting this guy. Oh, this is going well.
got
Okay,
this.
okay. Like, you guys just wait. You're gonna see some cool shit.
No, I believe it. Oh,
Oh
There he
yeah, Pogo. Hammer Joe, thank you.
I don't think I
That's
should
him.
try the boss now, though. I'm too low on health.
Just go ahead and die at the boss. It's no big deal.
Go like a hero.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go get more
Your
stuff.
ancestors will be proud, much more proud than, say, if you die
Oh,
falling onto a sharp thing or getting hit in the head with a bone.
literally right when you said that, I died from falling onto a sharp thing. As you're about to see.
oh, yep.
Oh, you just fell on some dude's head.
Yeah, very sharp head. Your timing was beautiful there. Man, I just keep getting Lich Queens and Lich Kings, and I feel like bad taking anything. Let me try an Assassin. Assassin's sort of a lower rank class. It's not very powerful, but they have a higher critical chance, I think. Let me pump some more and do my attack up. Try and get that going. Oh boy. This assassin is nostalgic, and I didn't realize that.
Oh, so your screen's a different color, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. What is with the cloud he's got around him? I've had that on a few characters. I never really connected the dots on what that trait is.
So this is the assassin has the ability. Their special ability, which is activated with Y, is to disappear. So that shadow just signifies that they have the ability to like go dark if they want to, which I think allows them to get closer to enemies without getting noticed. Or possibly even, like, sneak by enemies. Mads Fox is wondering, he says, if Phil has more kids that are Lich Kings Queens, will that open a more advanced Lich class? No, so, like, just unlocking the Lich class opened a more advanced Lich class. And then I've already unlocked that. That advanced class was Lich King / Queen. I think that's it. I think that's the highest it goes, but maybe it'll go higher later. I don't know. There is a lot of stuff in that tech or in that like level up tree, and they keep putting lots more like surprising shit in there. So,
Triku I don't know, in the chat pointed out that you don't use your magic very much.
yeah, I suck at magic.
It's just not your thing.
Magic's for wusses.
They have, like, I think they're pretty open about the fact that magic is, like, one of the more advanced things in the game to get good at. The actual, so, like, the higher ranking spell-using classes are literally just marked as, this is an advanced class.
Yeah. I've had good luck with, I don't even really like calling them magic, but the throwing weapons. It technically is a spell, but, you know, like the chakram or the daggers or... those have been very good to me in terms of not taking unnecessary risks by getting in too close to some stupid shit.
These things look awful.
This is like a mini boss. Yeah, I use magic a lot on the bosses, but very rarely outside. So every once in a while you get these stat found, and I don't know if these are actually permanent or if this is just for this character. If it is permanent, I don't know where that information is stored, because I can't find it anywhere.
If you look at like your stats when you're like switching out gear or building up stats and stuff, it does have your stat overlay listed, I think. Because I remember if you're switching out armor, it'll say what speed is dropped.
Oh yeah,
or...
no, I like you can look at the stats. I just don't know where it says which ones that you found while exploring the dungeon randomly. If that makes sense. But other
Marker says it's permanent. I'm inclined to.
That's certainly what I would think, because most of the stuff that you find in the game is.
It's largely about permanent upgrades.
Also, Omrecker is a very smart guy, so he probably knows what he's talking about. So I'm also inclined to believe him. Also, Omrecker has like already beaten this game on New Game Plus, so there's that as well.
Yeah, he was mentioning in the chat that not much changes, which is kind of a bummer, but maybe it's... I don't know.
It is. It's funny, Omrecker, I don't mean to call you out, but I am going to call you out. But I saw Omrecker tweeted after he beat the game on New Game Plus, he kind of tweeted saying like, oh, you know, like, there's not a lot of replay value. I really think that, like, people are going to get a good, like, 8 hours out of the first run, and that's about it. I feel like he's really overestimating the skill of most people, because, like, I don't know, I'm 6 hours in, and I've managed to beat one boss. And
even best case scenario, 8 hours for $15 game's pretty okay.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was gonna say, I'm
not the
paid
type.
A lot more for about that.
Yeah, I'm not the type to drop over 100 hours in anything.
Yeah.
So
I also do feel like this is the kind of game that's ripe for, you know, like updates, like, you know, whether it's paid DLC or just a free update with like new areas or new classes, and that kind of stuff. Like, I could totally see that happening with this game.
Oh.
God, I've got friends who've sunk like 400 hours to Binding of Isaac, and I'll just sit there and look at that. I'll be kind of like, what?
I'm at like
Talking about Phil.
I'm
Yeah,
at
you don't
like
need to talk
90
about Phil,
hours
he's not
in
here.
Binding of Isaac. So
Actually, no. There's someone on my list who's dumped like 900 hours into Football Manager, and that was when I last
Jeez.
saw it.
Jesus.
It's like you've got to leave that idling in the background or something.
Homewrecker says he did have a lot more in attack damage, so maybe I should start. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
you should start building up your pain train, Phil.
I'm gonna go with the Hokage here, which is this is a class that can't do criticals, but they just generally deal a lot more damage.
You can't see in 3D.
And I can't see in 3D with this character, so we'll check that out in a second.
Stereo blind.
I'm not sure that I can afford anything here. I don't think I can. But maybe I can buy some new armor or something. Oh, I think I'm like just too little to buy anything.
I hate that. I hate when you think you have enough and then you don't, and then you fucking get it taken.
There's
You
also
shady bastard.
I'm gonna buy an inch. I'm gonna buy one of those enchants, but there's also this weight property that you have to keep in mind, and weight is another of the things you can upgrade your maximum weight. So for example, if I had four coins more and could buy these silver limbs, I would not actually be able to equip them because I need 15 more weight, and I'm currently at my max of 150 out of 150.
Alas.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy an
Being
enchant.
just barely off is so infuriating.
I'm gonna get this sprint because I haven't tried this yet. So let's do it. All right, it was kind of cool.
975 hours in Bastion. What?
what would you
Bastion?
do?
I know it's a fantastic game.
It's
but
not very. It's not very replayable.
Yeah.
Maybe they were in the
He's-
middle of playing it when something happened, and you had to like
Did they like leave it
I don't
open
even know.
on spring
drive
break?
to a different state.
I don't even know if
Yeah.
I've sunk. I don't even think I've sunk 60 hours into Skyrim, for crying out loud.
Arrogant Paragon points out that I could have afforded magic damage, but as we've noticed, I don't fucking use magic very much.
Yep. Magic is for nerds. Don't do it.
Here's something that's kind of cool. One of the runes that I've unlocked, I've got it on a couple of my items. I haven't actually bought it yet, but it stacks also, which is cool. But there's the Grace rune, which causes enemies to scale slower, so enemies stay like easier longer as you're going through the castle. And I feel like this would be like, I feel like there's strategic implications for this. Like if you mix this with the Lich, who like gains more HP with every enemy it kills, I feel like you could become really powerful really quickly. But I haven't actually tried it because I suck at video games.
Your secret's safe with me and everybody watching.
And the internet.
Maybe.
Guys,
I'll go ahead and notify people on my Twitter to keep it silent as well.
guys, don't tell my boss.
Just so you know, don't tell people this about Phil.
This is why, Jeff, this is why I like you and I trust you. You're a good friend.
Because I can't articulate sentences very well. So I was just replaying
Yes.
that in my head. I was like, that didn't make any sense.
It made sense to me, okay? It made sense.
That's all that matters.
It made sense in my heart. So yeah, I don't know. Like the further in you go, your goal just kind of becomes like, man, I hope I survive on this run long enough to at least buy one or two big upgrades.
Oh man, that thing reminds me of a pencil sharpener.
Whoa, whoa!
Like the old hand crank ones that you saw in cabinets and stuff. Please tell me people remember that. I'd hate to feel old again, because I'm not
No,
that old.
I remember that.
I kind
Okay,
of
thank you.
vaguely recall something like that.
We had those because I went to an elementary school that was 100 years old. So,
I don't know.
Twisting
How,
the
make you
knife.
feel better.
I'm not that old.
I don't know how to get into the. Oh.
There's like I can see the top left. There's a. Oh, you have to be tiny.
Is
You
that
see
how you
above
get
the
in?
first platform.
You have to
on
be
the
really
left.
small. Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen
that is
those a
small.
few times. That is, you have to be teeny tiny version of yourself.
Dwarfism.
Yep.
not-
Itty bitty living space.
I'm not doing very good on this run.
You got this. Don't worry about it.
Oh, this room.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I've seen some. This room I remember very well because of that asshole in the middle you can't kill. He shoots. He's like a bullet hell generator.
A bullet
Oh,
hell
that room with
generator.
spikes.
Oh my god.
I like how
I
you
would've-
just said fuck that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was like, nope, nope. And I
I
died.
would have done the exact same thing.